Welcome back. Is everyone here? Or see, the good thing about this building is we have speakers even in the restrooms, so we can get people's attention. Well, we sometimes carry microphones in there without realizing it.
It's not interactive.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the film Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen. Anyway, I don't want to go into that. Well, I'd like to introduce and welcome a good friend of mine, a wonderful colleague in this region who's been engaged in interfaith work and anti-racism work for many decades, Dr. Roy Kaplan. Roy currently is Associate Professor in the Africana Studies Department at the University of South Florida. But before that, Roy was heading NCCJ, the National Conference for Christians and Jews, which now is renamed Community Tampa Bay. He was the Executive Director for 13 years. And under his leadership, NCCJ grew to be a very significant, influential organization, not just in the Tampa Bay, but in the state of Florida, providing opportunities for faith communities to come together to deepen their relationships and to actually do the work that we yearn for, the work of justice making and peacemaking through interfaith cooperation and understanding. And Roy continues to be active in that role, as well as he's considered to be a wonderful resource for many civic organizations in the school system on issues related to racism, different forms of oppression and prejudice, and how to work through those issues and create better structures within these kinds of institutional systems. So it's a joy to welcome Roy, and he will introduce the panel. So let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Roy Kaplan.
Thank you very much, Abhi. It's always a pleasure to be here and to be with this group and participate in the activities that are always going on at this Unitarian Universalist Church. It is an honor to be addressing this group today, and I'd like to welcome a couple of my students that made it all the way over here and found the place. It's very gratifying to know that they care and get their extra credit. This particular panel is called Racial Justice in the Post-Racial Society, Myth or Reality. The course that I teach at USF is Racism in American Society. That's at the undergraduate level, and I have a graduate counterpart to it. And then a new course this semester on social theory. And they all actually interact with this topic today, because it's one that I'm interested in, and one that's, and I appreciate Dr. Reza's remarks, one that is inescapable, and it's something that we have to come to grips with, or we won't survive as a society. Just the recent remarks by Rush Limbaugh and Pat Robertson and others. When I heard Robertson's remarks yesterday, and one of my colleagues was already photocopying the remarks and passing them around, and I said, you know, I have class, and I wasn't going to, I know that he said this, I wasn't going to mention it in class. And he said, well, it's a course on racism. You have to talk about this, because he represents a particular, you know, strain of thought in our society, and you don't want to just overlook these things. So I did talk about it just briefly in class yesterday. I thought it was terribly insensitive. And then I was on WMNF FM yesterday, a brief interview with Abhi talking about this conference, and of course the announcer asked me about his comments, and I said I thought Robertson had dementia. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. Maybe that's a good escape for him. The staff want to say that the guy's not all there, and so we can can forgive him. But reading Limbaugh's comments this morning that people shouldn't give because we don't know that the money's going to go. Very insensitive, and I just hope that these people don't represent very large groups of people in our society. But the book I'm finishing now on this topic does indicate that there are people that are not getting on board the train that's moving into the future. And Dr. Razor's remarks are very perceptive regarding how we can hopefully involve them, engage them in this process. Because we have to. We don't want to leave anybody out, and they deserve the right to participate in the better life that we foresee. So I brought together some people here this morning to give different perspectives on this topic of racial justice. They work with different groups of people in our society, and I'd like to introduce them. We have Dr. Mozella Mitchell, who's the chairman of the Religious Studies Department at the University of South Florida, herself is an ordained minister. And we have Sister Sarah Proctor, who's the coordinator of medical services for Catholic Charities for Hillsborough County, works with migrant farm laborers in our community. And of course, you were lucky enough to hear Dr. Paul Racer from the Director of Religious Freedom at Wesleyan College. And there are one or two that may wander in as we go along. If not, we're here. I believe that each is going to have about a 5-minute presentation or so, and then we'll entertain questions. I don't know if we'll solve the world's problems, but we have some very interesting people here and also out here. And hopefully we'll have a good dialogue. So I'll turn over to Dr. Mitchell.